Our story begins with a dream, vivid and strange, flickering through the mind of a young man. In this dream, he was a warrior, a challenger in a colossal, game-like tower. He climbed floor after floor, a world teeming with monsters that grew progressively stronger. With a defiant smirk, he cast aside weapons, believing true strength lay in one's own fists. He fought, he bled, and with each victory, a shimmering notice would appear: level up. As the monsters grew more fearsome, so did he, his power escalating with every grueling trial. Through countless challenges, he ascended until at last he reached the highest floor. There, the final boss awaited him, a figure of immense, overwhelming power. Though an enemy, the young man couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. And for some reason, the identity of this ultimate foe was his father, a strong, reliable image from his memory, now a colossal figure of might. Was the game fun? The dream father asked, his voice echoing in the void. But the dream shatters, and reality crashes back in a torrent of blood and desperation. The young man, Sung Suho, is not a powerful warrior. He's a terrified student, clutching a fire extinguisher as a makeshift weapon, his body bruised and bleeding. He had charged in recklessly, a desperate act of bravery from an unawakened, a normal human with no magical abilities. He knew the horrifying truth: the attacks of the powerless don't work on magic beasts. What should I do now, he thinks, his heart pounding in his chest as monstrous figures close in around him. Just as a clawed hand is about to strike, the world grinds to a halt. Everything freezes in a silent, colorless tableau. Before Suho's astonished eyes, glowing panels materialize in the air, their golden text shining like a prophecy. You have met the requirements to complete the secret quest, Courage of the Weak, one reads. Another follows, its words changing his world forever. You now qualify to become a player. Do you accept? The situation is eerily familiar, a mirror of the game-like dream he just had. In this moment of utter despair, with death a certainty, the choice is no choice at all. If I can fight like I did in that dream, what reason do I have to not accept? He resolves, his gaze hardening. With a silent thought, he accepts. Instantly, the world floods with notifications. Congratulations, you have now become a player. He is gifted Candiaru's Blessing, a permanent effect called Longevity that heals all poisons, diseases, and status effects while dramatically boosting his regeneration during sleep. A status window appears, displaying his name, Sung Suho, at level 1, his stats all perfectly balanced at 10, and a single intriguing active skill, Ruler's Authority, level 1. A final message warns him that this is not a dream, he only has one life. Then a new quest appears, Tutorial, defeat the Mistburn and level up. As the notification fades, time lurches back into motion. The monsters roar, but now Suho sees something new. Floating above their heads are names and ranks. Two are Unawakened Mistburn, and the larger, more menacing one is a D-rank Awakened Mistburn. He realizes the horrifying truth. These were once people. His opponents are two transformed civilians and one transformed hunter. A cold resolve washes over him, and a faint blue light glimmers in his eyes. He has truly awakened. Sorry, he mutters, lunging forward not with fear, but with newfound purpose. His fist connects with the jaw of an unawakened beast, and the creature is sent flying, defeated in a single, impossibly powerful blow. Suho stares at his hand in shock. He quickly dispatches the second unawakened beast with another queen strike. A cascade of system messages confirms his victories, and more importantly, level up. The tutorial quest is complete. Now I'm sure of it, he breathes, a grin spreading across his face. I really did awaken. His celebration is cut short as the final enemy, the D-rank beast, charges. He throws a punch, but this time his attack is stopped cold. The beast is on another level. It retaliates, its claws tearing into Suho's arm. A sharp pain shoots through him, and a terrifying thought grips him. If he's wounded by a magic beast, he too will transform. Just as panic sets in, a new notification appears. A harmful status effect has been detected, but it is immediately nullified by the effects of longevity. He remembers the blessing. He's safe from the transformation. Thrown back by the beast's power, he realizes he's still weaker than a D rank, likely making him a low-grade E rank awakener. But then he recalls the quest reward he hadn't yet claimed. He accepts it instantly, and stat points flood his system. There has to be something, he thinks, desperately allocating every single point into strength. His strength stat skyrockets. He feels a surge of raw power coursing through him, something no ordinary awakener, whose power is fixed at the moment of their awakening, should ever experience. He can level up. He can grow stronger. He can break the rules. Silence falls. System notifications flash before his eyes, announcing his victory and that he has leveled up 3 times in quick succession. Suho falls to his knees, gasping for breath, sweat and blood dripping on the floor. I won, he whispers, a wave of relief and triumph washing over him. He clenches his fist, feeling the power thrumming within him. With this, he thinks, tears of joy welling in his eyes, I'm an awakener as well. I can save people. I can solve this crisis. Filled with the surge of heroic purpose, he turns to the shattered window to assess the situation outside. But his newfound hope is met with a chilling dose of reality. Down below, amidst the chaos and smoke, a far larger, more grotesque creature smashes through a building. Above its head, a terrifying label glows in crimson. C-rank Awakened Mistburn. The fight for his life was merely a tutorial. The real nightmare was just beginning. Outside the shattered window, the city is a canvas of chaos. Sirens wail across the campus of the Korea University of Arts, their mournful cry echoing through the streets where soldiers have formed a tense, helpless perimeter. Damn it, one soldier mutters, his grip tightening on his rifle. People are dying and all we can do is watch. They're waiting, anxiously scanning the skies for a hunter from the association, but none have arrived. The situation has been horribly misjudged. What was thought to be a D-rank gate has become a catastrophe, its corrupting influence turning the dispatched hunters into the very monsters they were meant to fight. The association is scrambling, forced to dispatch a B or higher to contain a disaster spiraling out of control. Back in the ruined classroom, Suho stares at the new threat. The creature is larger, more defined, and clutches a brutal-looking weapon. A crimson nameplate floats above its head, C-rank Awakened Mistburn. Below it, a fainter tag reveals a name, Kim Jong-soo, rank C, tank. This wasn't just a monster, it was a C-rank hunter, twisted and transformed. It must have jumped up from a lower floor. After his recent level-ups, a flicker of bravado crosses his mind. Could I stand a chance? The thought is obliterated in an instant. The C-rank beast moves in a blur, its weapon cleaving the air and shattering the wall behind him with a deafening crack. Suho barely throws himself to the side, the sheer force of the missed blow staggering him. This is a different league of power. There's a reason Awakeners are split into ranks, and he has just experienced the terrifying gap. His only hope is to stall, to survive until the real hunters arrive. But the beast has other plans. Ignoring the seemingly insignificant boy, it turns and leaps out of the building, its monstrous form plummeting towards the streets below. A wave of horror washes over Suho. It's not interested in him, it's heading for the defenseless civilians. He could stay here, wait for rescue, and survive. But the image of the beast rampaging through the city flashes in his mind. Damn it all, he curses, the choice tearing him apart. He knows a single direct hit will kill him, but he can't let it run loose. With a desperate resolve, he leaps through the shattered window in pursuit. He crashes down onto the rooftop where the beast had landed, his legs screaming in protest. With a defiant yell, he charges, slamming his fist into the creature's side. The beast barely flinches. It turns, its eyes glowing with malice, and swats him away like an insect. The world goes dark for a moment as his body is flung across the rooftop. He feels a sharp, searing pain as a system window flashes in his vision, his health points a critical 1 of 140. He was a hair's breadth from death. I lucked out, he gasps, pushing himself up. The system must not want me to fall yet. His body feels heavy, unresponsive. A
A fatigue warning blares in his mind, the number at a staggering 99. He's running on empty. He tries to push forward, to fight on, but his limbs refuse to obey. As the C-rank beast looms over him for the final blow, a massive shadow suddenly eclipses the sun. Suho, lying broken on the ground, can only look up in exhausted confusion. A colossal, ant-like creature, wreathed in a terrifying dark purple aura, has landed silently between them. A voice deep and ancient, yet filled with a strange hint of regret.
No, because I was late. The ant creature turns its glowing eyes towards the mist burns that have gathered on the rooftop. Its voice is a low growl laced with utter contempt. You guys must be the lowly pests that dared to harm His Highness. The Mistburns, including the formidable C-rank, recoil in what looks like primal fear. Before they can react, the ant soldier becomes a whirlwind of death. It moves with impossible speed, its shadowy claws eviscerating the monsters in a violet spray of blood and gore. A student who had been cowering nearby can only watch in paralyzed terror as the terrifying savior tears through their would-be killers. In mere seconds, the rooftop is cleared, the monsters annihilated. The great ant-like shadow soldier turns, its violent aura receding. It approaches the battered and utterly bewildered Suho, who can do nothing but stare. The creature, a being of unimaginable power, lowers its massive frame and bows its head in a gesture of absolute reverence. It has been a while, the shadow soldier says, its voice echoing with loyalty. Young monarch. The world fades back into a sterile white. Suho awakens not on a cold, blood-stained rooftop, but on the crisp sheets of a hospital bed. A strange memory lingers at the edge of his consciousness. An immense, terrifying ant creature bowing to him, its voice echoing with the title, Young Monarch, but it feels distant, like the hazy remnants of a dream. 2 days have passed since the incident. A booming, frantic voice cuts through his thoughts, his uncle, panicked and promising to hire a platoon of awakened bodyguards. Outside his private room, the world is still reeling. News channels broadcast non-stop coverage of the dungeon break at the Korea University of Arts. They speak of a new type of monster, the Mistburns, capable of infecting even powerful hunters. A greater mystery, however, surrounds the aftermath. By the time the association's high-rankers arrived, every single monster on campus had been mysteriously annihilated. The official story, based on the testimony of a few surviving students, including Suho, was that the creatures simply exploded. Alone in his room, Suho dismisses the TV. He calls forth the familiar blue screen, the status window floating before him. Level 5, Strength 22. It wasn't a dream, his awakening, the system, the impossible power, it was all real. He then recalls the C-rank beast's attack, a blow that should have killed him outright. How did I survive that? He wonders out loud. That's because I, Beru, have gotten rid of those trash, a squeaky voice answers. Suho jolts upright. Perched on his bed railing is a tiny, almost cute ant-like creature, no bigger than his hand. It strikes a proud pose, its miniature form a comical contrast to the monstrous soldier he vaguely remembered. Seeing the tiny ant unlocks a flood of forgotten memories, a childhood spent not alone, but surrounded by dark, loyal creatures just like this one, his shadow guardians. He knows this ant. Long time no see, young monarch, Beru chirps, his voice filled with an emotion that feels ancient and overwhelming. He explains that he crossed dimensions to find Suho, a journey that consumed so much mana it shrunk him to this private-grade size, an insult to his true, formidable martial-grade self. His original purpose was to release a seal on Suho, but it seems the life-or-death crisis forced Suho to break it himself. Seal? Suho asks, the pieces beginning to click into place. Beru's explanation changes everything. The dream of climbing the tower wasn't a dream at all. They were Suho's own sealed memories. And the final boss, the figure of awe-inspiring power, was indeed his father, the great Shadow Monarch, Jinwoo. His father had sealed his son's immense power and memories,
hoping to grant him the one thing he never had, a normal life. The truth is staggering. His parents didn't abandon them. They left to fight a war in the far reaches of space against beings called the Itarim, gods from another dimension, whose apostols were now trying to invade Earth. The gates and monsters appearing across the globe were merely ripples from that cosmic conflict. A cold fear grips him. Then, did Mother go with him? Beru's cheerful demeanor vanishes. No, he says softly. Suho's mother, Cha Hae-In, went missing the very same day his father disappeared. Beru suspects the Itarim's forces on Earth laid a trap, capturing her while the Shadow Monarch was away. The weight of it all crashes down on Suho. His parents, gone. Not by choice, but because of these cosmic invaders. Is it because of those bastards that my parents can't return? He asks, his voice trembling with a mix of grief and rising anger. Do you wish to meet them? Beru asks gently. Of course, he chokes out, tears welling in his eyes. I've been alone for so many years. Then there is only one way, Beru declares, his tone shifting back to that of a loyal marshal. The Lord is occupied by the war, but you, young monarch, can get stronger. You can find and rescue Miss Hae-In yourself. The path forward is clear. He has to level up. As if summoned by his resolve, a new quest alert chimes, Trial of the Shadow. To prove he is worthy of his lineage, he must enter the Shadow Dungeon. Along with the quest, an item appears in Beru's tiny claws, the Shadow Dungeon key. Stick that key into your shadow, Beru instructs. A brief flashback reveals Beru's true orders from the Shadow Monarch himself. Go to Earth and release Suho's seal. Protect him. For the rest, I allow you to act at your discretion. Beru's choice is made. He will remain by his young monarch's side and watch him grow into the king he is destined to be. Suho looks at the key, then at his own shadow stretching across the floor. The wild stories of outer space, gods and monarchs still feel like nonsense, but the chance to see his parents again, that is a hope he will cling to with everything he has. I'll level up all I can. Without hesitation, he takes the key and plunges it into the darkness at his feet. The shadow ripples, then erupts into a swirling, silent vortex of pure night. This is the entrance to the Shadow Dungeon, the land of the dead. And though he has never been here before, a strange and unsettling sense of familiarity washes over him. A new quest window immediately materializes. He must survive here for 4 hours. The denizens of this realm, it warns, will not accept a weak master. Please be on guard, young monarch, squeaks Beru from his shoulder. The time of suffering will soon arrive. The warning comes just in time. A grotesque, green-skinned creature lunges from the shadows, its crude axe held high. Suho sidesteps the clumsy attack with ease. He notes the nameplate above its head, Goblin Scout, is a plain, colorless white. He's on the same level as me, or weaker, Suho assesses calmly, recalling how the stronger Miss Burns had colored tags. Understanding the threat, or lack thereof, he moves in, his fist connecting with a sharp crack. The goblin falls, defeated, dropping a stone axe. His quick victory is short-lived. A mournful horn blasts echoes through the ruins, and from the rubble, a small horde of goblins emerges, their ranks led by a larger, more formidable centurion and decurion. You'll help me, right? Suho asks, glancing at the tiny ant on his shoulder. I could wish for nothing more, Beru replies regretfully, but my mana does not replenish here, and my interference would greatly decrease the experience you gain. So you're not helpful, Suho retorts with a wry grin. Turning to face the charging horde, he needs an edge. His eyes fall on his status window, on the skill he has yet to use, Ruler's Authority. As the goblin archers loose a volley of arrows, Suho raises a hand. He feels a strange sensation, as if an invisible limb is extending from his own. The arrows stop dead in midair, frozen just before him. With a flick of his wrist, he sends them flying back towards their surprised shooters. He then focuses on a goblin's discarded axe, lifting it with the same invisible force and sending it spinning through the air, felling another monster. Watching from the sidelines, Beru is filled with pride. The young monarch had possessed this telekinesis power, this ruler's authority, even as a child. It was a power meant for destruction, a dangerous liability in a peaceful world, which is why his father had sealed it. But now, with the world under threat, that dangerous power was becoming a beacon of light. Having dealt with the ranged attackers and getting a feel for his new skill, Suho dives into the fray. He trades blows with the goblin warriors, the impact of their crude weapons stinging his flesh. But with every cut and bruise, he doesn't feel weaker. He feels more alive than he ever did as a powerless student. In the heat of the battle, a new notification appears. He has learned the passive skill Resilience, his body instinctively hardening against the onslaught, his physical defense increasing. Fueled by this new toughness, he fights with a ferocious tenacity, a whirlwind of fists and feet, until he is the only one left standing amidst a field of falling goblins. As the last monster falls, a cascade of notifications floods his vision, one after another. Level up, level up, level up. He levels up 5 times in a row. The 4-hour timer hits 0. The trial is complete. All his wounds and exhaustion vanish, washed away by the restorative power of the level-ups, a support system, Beru explains,
designed by his father to ensure his safety as he grows. His reward for completing the quest materializes, a rune stone shadow extraction. If I use this, can I learn the skill? Suho wonders aloud. Crushing the stone in his hand, a dark energy flows into him. He has learned the core of his father's power. He can now raise the dead and command them as shadow soldiers. A system prompt indicates that he can use the new skill on a nearby goblin corpse. He hesitates for a moment. Necromancy. It's a power that many in the hunter world would view with suspicion, but this is the power of the Shadow Monarch, his birthright. The system asks him to specify a command to activate the skill. After a moment of contemplation, he decides it should be simple, direct, and powerful. He extends a hand over the body of a fallen goblin, his expression turning serious. He focuses his will, channeling the dark energy now swirling within him. A single word, spoken with quiet authority, echoes through the silent ruined city. Arise.